That's the best thing about, that's the thing about global warming, that they don't, because there's good stuff, like there's good stuff. So if you lived somewhere like, I mean here, the summers are getting a bit like Spain. All right, well, that was a bit cockney, wasn't it? All right, well, I'm back, you know, with more stuff that you don't normally get to see on other people's crappy channels, innit? So, what would, you know, I'm not being rude there. You know, some channels are crappy, a lot of them, and you probably shouldn't. Don't watch them. Watch this. You are. So we've made it. Listen, I've called my agent,
Yeah.
Joanne. She's come along, and we're doing this to kind of show you a behind the scenes of how a mighty YouTube channel is developed. Because imagine when we've got 1 billion subscribers and everybody in the world at least knows somebody who has subscribed to this channel, then millions of you, maybe all of you, hundreds of millions of you will say, I wonder how they built that. How did they, you know, from scratch? You won't need to wonder, because we'll have done it. We talk about what we're making, and then we go and make it. Yeah, so that's exciting, isn't it? Let's build on the excitement now. Joanne.
Yes.
I have called you here to announce that we're going to move officially, this is official, going to move into podcasting.
Ah.
Yeah?
Okay, yeah.
Is that one word?
Podcasting?
Yeah.
One word? Yeah.
It's in the dictionary.
I probably
Where
by
does
now.
it come from? Podcast.
Podcast. You're casting from a pod, usually
pod.
a little booth,
This is
potentially.
This is a room. We'll be doing it here.
Are we? Is this it now?
Well, this isn't, I don't think this is a podcast, is it? Because if this were a podcast, there would need to be, do they do podcasts with two people?
Absolutely, that's the usual format, yeah.
But I don't think that they would, I don't know how sort of play within a play it gets, because I don't think they'd be discussing their podcast on the podcast.
Well, sure.
You know,
Bit
normally the stuff that I watch is they just kind of, they look at other people's podcasts and then discuss what other people are doing.
Wow.
And then those people reply to that, or they look at that podcast. There's a third group of people, and they look at the podcast talking about the first group of people, and then they talk about the second group of people's podcast. Fourth group of people then talk about all three podcasts, and then there might be a fifth group of people who ignore the third people, but they'll talk about the first, second, and fourth people. And so really it's just like one big incestuous, you know, melange, where they just, let's all talk about one another.
Yeah, I haven't heard any of those ones. That sounds a bit too difficult for me. I think this is great. Definitely not an oversaturated industry.
No.
I think there's definitely a niche that we can carve in that. What's the kind of premise?
Well, here's the thing. I've been watching the news again, and you know that I ignore the news, but I watched it this week just in case it had changed. It hadn't. It was still the same old thing, and I just thought, wow, people watch the news and then they talk about the news on their podcasts.
Yeah.
And all the ones that were doing well seemed to be complaining and saying how awful everything was. And I thought, well, this is fascinating, isn't it? Because there is that old saying, I don't know how old it is, but there's a saying, misery loves company. Okay, have you heard that one?
Yes, I have. Do you know who said it?
Lucille Ball.
Was it?
I Love Lucy.
Often these kind of people come out with the best quotes.
Yeah, she was kind of quick on the draw, really.
Yeah.
Well,
Dolly Parton has another great one. She says, you can't hope for the rain. No, you can't hope for the rainbow unless you withstand the rain.
Oh, okay.
Another misery link.
Because, I mean, you'd only hope for rain if you were, like, maybe a farmer or, you know, in kind of drought conditions. You can't hope for the rain. You shouldn't hope for the rain. Is that what? That's not what she said, but I'm just saying like the bit that when you got it wrong. I just wondered if you could turn that into something.
You can't hope for the rain.
You shouldn't
unless you withstand the sun. So it's really for a pessimistic person.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't like the sun. You know,
actually,
everything it brings with it, hay fever, overheating. I feel very just sweaty all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping for rain a little bit.
I'm hoping for you shouldn't hope for the rain unless you endure some sun or you live in like Northern Ireland.
Yeah. You can't hope for the rain if you've fucked up the world with global warming.
But it'll rain somewhere. That's the thing about global warming, that they don't, because there's good stuff. Like there's good stuff. So if you lived somewhere like, I mean here, the summers are getting a bit like Spain.
They
so you
really
don't
are.
need to go to Spain anymore. You
Yeah,
just go,
well,
just stay here. Because in Spain you just like melt. So you're like, well, don't go there. Stay here so your holidays are cheaper.
But I think this is what the climate activists are fighting against, you know, Brits saying, oh, well, save money.
See, these are the things that we could possibly discuss, because what you've got is you could be miserable about climate change, and you could be miserable. You just get two people in a room, so you got one person, they go, oh, climate change, and you could be someone like me who's like, yeah, okay, but think we don't need to bother the airport during summer anymore. You know, like the crowds of people at the airport, and then you get someone on who's like just doesn't like activists, so you just go, you're always complaining. Yeah. So immediately you have that. So even though these people are at loggerheads, they're both miserable.
Yeah, I think we need to be careful not to go into sort of Joe Rogan, Andrew Tate territory with this podcast, spouting out controversial opinions just for the sake of it.
But they
and
kind of
I guess
all do, don't they? I mean, you know.
And you are a bald man.
I am. Right,
so
exactly.
You don't want to be associating yourself with those kind of people.
But I don't know if they choose.
Someone might make a meme, all three of you.
They might go, there's too many like bald people who make
Negative.
podcasts like this. Negative. Yeah, but you know, the thing is, people love it. Yeah, people keep watching it.
So you said that these are the most popular ones. Like you've looked at the ratings and you've seen that the most popular ones are people complaining about stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't really, much as I'd love it, you can't have a sort of positive. So if you had a podcast where you came on and you just said, oh, everything's fine. You know that thing you were worried about? It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's actually okay. Do you know that? So you come on about like the climate change activist comes on and goes, oh, climate change is awful. And then you just sort of go, okay, so you're not like rude to them or anything. And you go, okay, but what about, you know, do you understand that there's more forests in the world than there were 40 years ago and all of these kinds of things. You come up with stats why it might not be so bad, you know. And the odds of them then going away and going, oh, do you know what? I don't think it's that bad, are so slim, yeah, that you couldn't fit like a skinny gerbil through the gap. You just couldn't do it. So it's almost a waste of time. You're not going to change people's minds. Yeah.
No.
This is the mistake everybody makes. They always go, oh, I think we can change minds if we yell at people enough. Or so that's one side of the coin. We'll just yell at people. We'll just swear at them and tell everyone tell a person how awful they are. That's one attempt that's made. The other attempt is like, oh well, maybe if we just give them as many facts as possible, that'll change their mind. But you won't.
Have you ever had your mind changed?
I've had.
Maybe when you're a kid. Maybe we should be targeting.
No. That's a terrible audience as well, because they've got such, you know, short attention spans, particularly now. I mean, with the way that they get parented, just, you know, go in front of a screen, you know, just from day one. Oh, the child is crying. I imagine. I mean, this is an idea. Somebody could do it, but if somebody like made like a mask, because they were very popular, you know, missed opportunity. You invent a mask that you put on like the face of a child.
Yeah. Like a COVID mask, you mean? Face mask.
But this is a bit more technical.
Okay.
So it'd be a bit more like, you know, like a set, like almost a headset thing that you put on the child, you know, kind of wrap it around the ears or something. And it just converts a cry into just like kind of nice, yeah, just like So you know that they're upset and need something, but
Yeah.
you don't get the shrill,
piercing shriek. Yeah.
just imagine.
I mean, what would be, if you're going to go down that route and all the technology, I think what would be better is if it translated it into, I want food, I want to sleep, so that you actually know what they're...
If you could tell the difference between the different cries.
Yeah, because I'm not sure that although it'd be nicer to listen to, is it really going to...
Yeah, maybe the different, I don't know, different kind would be a different, rather than maybe enunciating it, because I think it'd be weird to have like a set on and then suddenly it's converted to words.
Yeah,
I think that would be really odd.
It would be creepy.
That
But then
would be
what, you
strange.
prefer this sort of robot baby
Ford,
thing?
you know, no, I'm not sure about that. I prefer like, yeah, because it's just a nice kind of, it's that kind of, okay, here you go. And obviously, maybe, I don't know, you could put a hole in it that you could just pour like through,
the mask.
through the mask. Yeah,
Okay.
because if you take the mask off, you'll hear the crying again. Ironically, that has solved a lot of the problems with going to Spain, because, you know, like crying babies on planes, that would solve that problem.
Climate
but then
change.
we still don't need to go to Spain. Oh, we did climate change. The thing is, it's over. It's too late. It's too late. Okay? So we can, you know, you moan about it. Look, hey, gets clicks. You moan about it, but it's far too late. They were saying in 2007, when climate change was all the rage, because they'd not had the financial crash yet. 2007, they were going, oh, climate change, if we don't do something about it in the next year, we're all doomed. So let's say those people were right. It's too late then, isn't it? You know, we're all going to die anyway.